Hello, my name is Faustina Calvente, and I'll be presenting case study for week 3 on the article, What Should I Say? Moving on to the first slide, I believe Russell Hart should consider including all of his points and out on his doubts and suspicions regarding Youssef Said on his report in order to point out his poor management style and employee treatment. I believe he could add statements about the employee he has mistreated, emphasizing the disregard for their opinions and the humiliation they experience. Because I believe this type of management does not match the cultural norms and value of the Saudi Arabia region. The sketchy deals you say does under the table do not align with the company's international laws or ethical standards. And I believe, do they want someone who does not apply the company's values to be the representative of the company in a different country? Because in the long run, someone with these personality traits will eventually show his true colors, and the company can be caught in the line of fire for breaking specific laws. Or even without focusing on the legal reasons, the fact that the company board needs to be notified is enough, because there's a huge risk of decreased employee morale, high turnover rates, and potential damage to the company's reputation. Moving on to the next slide, if I were in his position, I believe it takes courage to point out someone else's wrongdoing, but it can also be what sets you aside. Russell should assess the extent to which he values honesty, integrity, and adherence to ethical standards. If I were Russell, I would want to evaluate the potential long-term consequences of not addressing the issues with Youssef. If he believes that the problems may have significant negative effects on the organization, its employees, or the reputation in the future, it may be more justifiable to include them in the report. Apart from that, in regard to his personal ambitions, I will take this as an opportunity to show my capabilities and how I can bring something else to the table and prove that I'm the best option for the work. Showing courage by going against what everyone else is doing, proving strong will and determination in following one's values can be the determining factor that makes the board of the directors, in this case, not only see him as someone who stays true to the company's ethics and morale, but also someone who is not scared to take risks to have the best results. And continuing to slide number 3, on what amount or kind of courage will be required for Hart to disclose everything honestly, I believe it will take a lot of courage to move on with this type of approach to the company. It takes courage to speak up about issues that may go against the expectations or desires of superiors or colleagues, especially in a high-stakes corporate environment. Hart is facing a dilemma where he must balance his ethics and the potential consequences for his career advancement. And in relation to this slide, moving on to slide number 4, I will advise Hart to acquire that courage by focusing on his values and ethics. Even though being fully honest may be risky, as it could go against what the board of directors wants, it's important for him to understand why honesty, integrity, and well-being of employees matter to him. This introspection can help reinforce the significance of his actions and provide motivation to act courageously. I think reaching out to Christopher, his assistant, was also a great idea. He should seek support from trusted colleagues to advise him on what's best. I believe it's crucial for him to think about the type of man he is, and I think he should also embrace how courage is also a skill and understand that this way he can fully prove he has the strength to do what needs to be done. Aiming for such a position such as director of the Middle East division is not for everyone, and he has to show he got what is needed to do what is suitable for the company, even if he's the only one that sees it that way, which I believe shows excellent levels of bravery, determination, and leadership. Lastly, I believe he should prepare and plan accordingly how he's going to address the concerns. As I mentioned at the beginning, gathering evidence will be crucial to provide a sense of security and truth when approaching the situation with his superiors. Finally, as doing a conclusion on everything we have discussed today, starters Youssef Said aligns with a lower level of moral development. He mistreats and humiliates staff, disregarding their opinions and taking pleasure in their suffering. This suggests a focus on self-interest and immediate consequences, characteristics of the pre-conventional stage, which involves the idea that what is right is what one can get away with or what is personally satisfying. A great example is the unwritten agreements he does, the the arrangements, the favors. The idea is that, but in this case, particularly, I will focusing on stage one on the pre-conventional scale, where behavior is clearly determined by consequences. Moving on to our main character, Russell Hart, he has shown a higher level of moral development compared to success. He acknowledges his personal ambitions and desires for career advancement, but also experiences a moral conflict regarding the potential problems with the organization. He considers the ethical implications of his actions and weighs the impact on employees and the company's culture. Russell's thought process suggests a movement towards the conventional state, where conformity to social rules remains important to him. I'll say particularly on stage four, which is regards to law and order for orientation. And lastly, Bill Andrews, which we haven't heard much about him, but based on, I'll say his behavior aligns more with the pre-conventional stage, but on the second stage, since it looks like he focuses on receiving rewards and satisfying personal needs. Therefore, his behavior or approach to how you said works is determined by the consequences, which this far have always been positive for him. Therefore, I believe he will be the type of man that as long as he's getting the rewards, he's getting what he wants, he doesn't care the way they get it in the short term or long term. Though it's important to note, to conclude, that moral development is a complex process, and individuals may demonstrate different stages depending on various circumstances and contexts. This is how I will conclude my presentation.